Hello and welcome to News Central TV. I am Chiwete Onyema. The top stories this hour. Private medical practitioners in Nigeria warn of imminent collapse in the health sector, urge government intervention. President Tinubu issues marching order to the military as terrorist kills 9 in fresh attack in Borno State. Death toll from flash flooding in Kerr County, Texas rises to 59. Details shortly. We begin the news with challenges in Nigeria's healthcare sector as the Association of Nigerian Private Medical Practitioners has called on President Bola Tinubu and Nigerians to urgently intervene in the nation's health sector. The association raised the alarm over an imminent crisis in the nation's health sector following a 21-day ultimatum issued by the Nigerian Medical Association to the federal government. The ANPMP, in a press statement signed by its president, Dr. Kayode Adeshola, and Secretary General Dr. Gbadebo Adebiyi on Sunday, urged President Bola Tinubu to urgently intervene before the healthcare system collapses. The NMA had on July 2nd issued an ultimatum in protest against a circular from the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission on revised allowances for medical and dental officers in the Federal Public Service, which the doctors say violates prior agreements. The ANPMP, a constituent of the NMA, expressed full support for the ultimatum, warning that the current situation, if ignored, could plunge both public and private health care into a deeper crisis. Still on the medical sector, the Nigerian Medical Association has raised concern over the federal government's plan to deploy doctors and healthcare workers to St. Lucia and other Caribbean nations under a new technical manpower assistance agreement. In a statement signed by Secretary General Dr. Benjamin Egbo, the NMA described the move as a deeply troubling contradiction, citing poor conditions faced by doctors within Nigeria. While St. Lucia pays its top doctors 131.7 million naira annually, Nigerian doctors posted there under the TMA received 40.8 million naira compared to just 11.9 million naira for those working at home. The protest comes amid growing dissatisfaction in the sector. The Lagos State branch of the NMA also rejected the federal government's proposed salary structure, calling it unjust and a threat to the nation's already fragile healthcare system. Away from that, President Bola Tinubu is attending the 2025 BRICS Summit, a gathering of the world's major emerging economies. His presence marks a strategic move to strengthen Nigeria's voice in global economic and diplomatic conversations.
Hosted this year in Rio de Janeiro, brings together leaders from Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and now partner nations like Nigeria. President Bola Tinubu was received by top Brazilian officials as his visit follows growing international recognition of Nigeria's economic potential and its push for a stronger role in multilateral institutions.
We just had a very down-to-earth bilateral discussions led by Mr. President himself, and on the Brazilian side, President Lula da Silva led his own team. From the presentation of President, I had him mention part of the reforms embarked upon by Mr. President Bola Tinubu has been that of the creation of the Ministry of Livestock at the federal level, and he kept on emphasizing that Nigerian livestock need the kind of transformation the Brazilian sector has underwent over the years. And he repeated that 3 times. That underscores his own commitment, the political support he is giving to the transformation of the livestock sector.
Honestly, I'm so excited. And both President Lula and President Tinubu hit it on the head. The South-South collaboration and the BRICS collaboration will bring so much to Nigeria in terms of exchanges in air, transportation, shipping, trade, investment, and also mining and agriculture.
The summit, high-level discussions on global trade reforms, South-South cooperation, climate financing, and the proposed BRICS currency initiative are expected, as well as the formation of new bilateral relations and ties.
And then another engagement is also going to happen in August, and they expressed the desire to fast track whatever relationship in terms of economic relationship, in terms of research and development, in areas of aviation, areas of agriculture.
Part of this engagement gets me intrigued because something is coming up, that we add up on a good push, even in terms of agriculture, and then also in terms of solid minerals. They're quite huge on this thing too.
President Tinubu's visit to Brazil is expected to last 3 days, with Nigerians watching closely for any agreements or declarations that may reshape its foreign policy and economic direction. In Abuja, for News Central, I am Bettina Nwili.
Right now, we move over to talking about the healthcare sector, and joining me to do that is Dr. Phillips Ekpe, who joins me live right now to discuss challenges in the health sector. Dr. Phillips is a chief consultant and an advanced fertility expert. You're welcome, Dr. Phillips. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
All right, let's start off by talking about the underlying factors that have led to the persistent disagreement between the Nigerian Medical Association and the federal government regarding doctors' salaries and allowances.
All right. Thank you very much for this laudable program. Well, Nigerian Medical Association cares for the welfare of all the doctors in Nigeria, and they also are responsible for dialoguing, discussing with government to make sure that doctors and the other medical personnel are well paid. And naturally, we sit down in what they call collective bargaining agreement, CBA, discuss and arrive at agreement on how it should be, especially with regards to the salary structures of the different health personnel in the healthcare sector, and also the relativity between medical doctors, the nurses, the pharmacists, the microbiologists, and other people that work in the healthcare system. And so, unfortunately, government quite often do not live up to expectation because apart from the delay in reviewing the packages, the remuneration packages as agreed, they also go ahead to bring out circular that falls short, falls short of what was discussed. So at the end of the day, they erode the relativity, at the same time, not meeting up, not even up to 10 or 5% of what probably was agreed. And, sometimes too, they are carrying out this action without even involving NMA. For instance, the circular that came out, the last circular that came out, NMA had no involvement. They just brought it out, and we realized that, instead of the normal increment that is expected, about 1.7% was what was given, instead of over 200% that is expected. So it's quite obnoxious, and it doesn't call well, especially in this time of brain drain, where majority of Nigerian doctors have left the country, and the country is deprived, very seriously deprived of doctors. The recommended ratio by WHO is one doctor to about 300 to 600 patients. But in Nigeria, we are almost one doctor to about 8,000 to 10,000 patients. And so the workload for doctors, the workload for healthcare workers is so much that they're having burnt out, doctors are collapsing, and the health indices is beginning to drop. And yet, you are now bringing up a circular that do not commensurate with the work that is being done. It should fall very, very far short from what is expected. So these are the problems that the government is causing. Actually, it's government that is causing this problem, not the doctors, not the association, it's basically government sitting down and not following the collective bargaining agreement that was signed. The last one that was signed was 2014, then 2024. None of them are following up. Thank you.
Well, let's talk about what the government plans to do with St. Lucia right now. Right now the federal government plans to deploy Nigerian doctors to St. Lucia and other Caribbean countries under the unequal pay conditions. What are the implications of this development?
For us, it's like a good joke, like a slap on the face of Nigerian doctors that we are sitting down here. Many of our colleagues have even jackpot or left the country to end very, very well. The few that is left, then Mr. President made a pronunciation that is going to take some part of the doctors that are left in the country and take them to St. Lucia. And of course, if you look at the disparity, there are two levels of disparity. First, there's a disparity in pay for the doctors who are the original indigenous of St. Lucia's, and then that they're compared to those doctors who are coming from Nigeria. And then now compared to the indigenous doctors, those who are living in Nigeria, they are even going to earn almost less than 10% or maybe about 10-20% of what those who are going to St. Lucia's, So we now begin to ask ourselves, are we serious in this country that we really care for the healthcare system and the welfare of the citizens of this country in terms of health? It's really abnormal and very not enjoy. It doesn't go down well. It doesn't sit down well with us, the doctors, not even with NMA or any other affiliate of NMA, that we are talking about how to revamp our healthcare system, how to get in more doctors, how to, begin to reduce the ratio between doctors to patient. And our president is saying he's going to take some doctors to St. Lucia, where we're already deprived. And not just that, they're going to be paid more than the ones who are in Nigeria, and then the ones who are also going to earn less than the ones who are in St. Lucia. It begins to sound like it's a kind of modern slavery that the president is actually, potentiating. So it's not acceptable. It's really very bitter, situation.
What would you say the government should do right now? If you're going to advise the government or suggest to the government, what would you say are the three things they should do right now to increase the number of doctors we have in Nigeria and also ensure that we don't have that brain drain in the health sector?
The first major driving factor is remuneration. You can imagine, I will tell you, 90% of the doctors who have left the country are earning more than 6 to 10 times what they're earning in Nigeria. And they even promise them vacation, and most of what they're earning is tax-free. So first, let the country start from there. Increase the remuneration, get into the collective bargaining agreement, fulfill their own part, and then also give some incentive to doctors, like tax, give them some tax rebate on different issues. This is one of the basic factors that has been making doctors leave the country. I can tell you, I have a nurse a doctor, 1,000 naira in Nigeria, currently in Saudi Arabia, earning about 6 million naira a month. So you can imagine the difference in that. That is enough motivation. Before you talk about even the lack of facilities that we have in the country, is so bad. Then the death of doctors overworking themselves. Consultants are working alone with senior registrars. There are no house officers. There are no middle cadre doctors. So at the end of the day, there is a whole lot. And then Mr. President is talking about going to St. Lucia. No, they should encourage the doctors from leaving. And then there was a proposal that had been signed by the president to increase the retirement age of doctors to 65 and 70. And up till now, it's not been implemented because doctors who are age 65, who are age 70, who are age above 60, they still have the energy to work. They still have the energy to work. So this is a temporary measure. Why you begin to look at a long-term measure to increase the remuneration, better the facilities we have in the hospital. The healthcare system is very low, So these are some of the basic things I think the government should do. There is a whole
Thank you. All right, Dr. Phillips, I'm sorry, but we'll just have to cut you off there because we're really pressed for time. But thank you so much for joining us. We hope you join us some other time. All right, to go on a quick break. When we return, there's more. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. The Senate's Committee on Constitutional Review on Saturday received varying requests for the creation of additional states in the southeast geopolitical zone of Nigeria to guarantee equity and fairness. Stakeholders representing various interests at the constitutional review hearing in Enugu, such as Nørgaard from Enugu State and Sam Nwakire from Abia State, stated that the viability of the proposals and argued why there has to be an additional state in the zone from their own ends. A total of 4 different states of Aba, Adada, Anim, and Anioma states were suggested for creation. Senate Committee Chairman Onyekachi Nwaboy led the committee on the review hearing in Enugu State.
Our zonal summit, which is one of the steps to be taken in amending our constitution, the 1999 constitution. And I believe that this time around, the Federal Republic of Nigeria will listen to the people of Southeast.
The potentials for other states are vast. We have already results. In fact, my in-laws in Anambra are horizontally drilling our oil in Uzowa as I speak to you. We have gas reserves in Ihadiagu. We have the potential for viability economically. We have extensive land for agriculture. 7 years ago, thank you very much. Ohaneze Ndị Igbo, sitting here in this city, recommended Aba as the 6th state for the Southeast Zone.
At the South-South Zone, the Senate Committee on Constitutional Review held a public hearing reviewing over 50 proposed amendments to the 1999 Constitution. Stakeholders, including civil society groups, traditional rulers, and advocacy organizations, gathered in Ikotekpene to push for reforms aimed at building a more inclusive and representative nation. Top issues were raised, including demands for 6 new states and 3 additional local government areas, support for the reserved seats for women bill, and also the strong opposition to removing Labour from the exclusive legislative list. All right, joining us now for this conversation, of course, joining us to have this conversation right now is Barrister Justice Ojono. We'll be talking about the constitutional reform process. Barrister Justice, thank you so much for joining.
It's my pleasure to join you.
Okay, let's start off with this cry and this demand for the creation of 6 new states and additional local government areas. What is the potential political and social implication of this?
Okay, for me, majorly the political implication, I even actually outrightly, let me just give an opinion on it. Outrightly, okay. I feel that it's a real waste of time. So politically, it's gonna be squandered capital, because I do not see it seeing the light of day. Because no matter how passionate we are in one corner of Nigeria demanding or requesting that we should have a separate territory as a state, particularly, the other ends of the country may not share such sentiments, and we need to be able to galvanize everybody in all corners of Nigeria before it can see the light of day as per the provisions of the amendment of our Constitution, pursuant to Section 9 of the Constitution. So I do not see it eventually scaling the hurdle, despite the fact that a lot of people are feeling that one corner of their state should be independent and, yes, and have independent state power. So if you now ask me that, what do I feel on this part, I will say that the Southeast, for the sake of fairness and equity, especially at the Senate level, because we are entitled to 3 senators per state, I feel that there should be an extra state in the Southeast. I know that Anioma has always been pushed for, so maybe it can be Anioma, maybe it may not be Anioma, but there should be an additional state for the Southeast. That's as per me. Okay. But as for the local governments, I will advocate for more local government, because local governments are the ones that provide governance to the average persons. But when it comes to their staffing or political office holders, they may have to cut that down. But we should have much more than what we presently have.
Let's talk about state policing. right? I mean, in what ways, could this establishment, because it's been demanded by some zones, to influence security and governance and all of that. What do you think state policing can do for Nigeria right now?
The federal policing that we've always had, pursuant to Section 214 through 217, has obviously failed. So there is no way we can say that, okay, we should continue maintaining what we currently have, because I saw there was a tabloid, I don't want to drop names now, that said that we had more than 600,000 people dead in one country in a day, in a year, where we are not at war. So that shows that federal policing has totally failed. I will support fully that provisions of Section 214, 215 of our Constitution be amended for us to have another kind of policing that is closer to the people. We do not have to wait for the people in Luisedet House in Abuja before the farthest flung cranny in a state is protected. So I feel that state policing should be it. And I also want to further advocate that beyond state policing, we should also have local policing, because it is the people that see and speak at the local level that are able to actually thwart insecurity that actually emanates and actually starts from the local level. So I am fully for state policing, because federal policing has failed, and I want to even suggest more that we should further go into local policing.
Now, when it comes to policing, right, it's always a good concept, but we also have to look at something here, which is funding. How many states in Nigeria do you think can actually fund that? Looking at how, lots of states are in debt, and, things regarding things as easy as simple as salaries are not even paid. I mean, you don't want to be in a situation where your police set up, your police officers, you don't expect them to be as efficient as possible. So looking at where Nigerian states are right now, do you think we can afford that?
I solidly actually think we can afford that. Despite the fact that there is so much corruption in the system, a state like Lagos State cannot give such an excuse. A state like Rivers State, Akwa Ibom State cannot give such an excuse.
How many of these states do we have?
Okay, maybe, and that's why I started out by saying that if we root out corruption, what we have will go round. I am very certain of that. What we have will definitely go round. If we root out corruption and we improve on efficiency and we improve on revenue generation, I think that what we have will go round. That's number one. At some point, I personally feel that we should always not let the good be the enemy of the great. We shouldn't always be saying, until we can have it all excellently taken care of at the excellent or great level, that we shouldn't start. Can we start? If we start, funding, we'll look for a way to. It's a challenge. There will always be challenges. We'll have to look for a way to ensure that we get sufficient funding to take care of the loyal and sacrificial persons that will eventually staff the various state police forces or even local police forces that may come to life as a result of the eventual constitutional amendment.
Now, how can this constitutional review process, ensure that, reforms lead to a more inclusive and representative governance structure rather than just, deepen regional or ethnic divisions?
Yeah, and that's why, as much as possible, we have to ensure that the arguments that are being had and the eventual compromise that will be arrived at is had in an altruistic manner. People shouldn't over-push their agenda, because as it presently is, and that's why to an extent I'm a bit against it, everybody is personally actually just pushing their agenda. So if they put the country first and they put equality and equity and fairness first, I think that the eventual byproduct of all these efforts will actually augur well for every citizen of Nigeria.
Now, when we look at the National Assembly, of course, we know that 2/3 of them have to approve for the constitutional amendment to actually go through. What are the chances that this would happen, looking at the kind of National Assembly we have right now?
Okay, I even think that it's even beyond the National Assembly, and of course, all these remind me of the case of Attorney General of Lagos State and Attorney General of the Federation at the time, where the present president was the one that championed it, and of course the former vice president, Mr. Yemi Osinbajo, senior advocate of Nigeria, when he was the Attorney General of Lagos. And they pushed for some of these amendments by way of a local government autonomy. eventually we saw that it didn't see the light of day, and the court actually ordered or ruled that yes, it was inchoate. Yes, the states have the power to actually create more local governments, but it was inchoate, and that it was the National Assembly that had the responsibility to make consequential amendments to the Constitution in order to be able to capture the amendments that have been made by the state government. So I feel that as it is, as presently constituted, the people of various states may want to prevail on their representatives at the National Assembly, not just the National Assembly, but also at the state houses of assembly. I don't see it seeing the light of day at that stage. And if it doesn't see the light of day at that stage, unfortunately, there is going to be another effort in futility, just like the other Constitutional Assembly and maybe constitutional conferences that we've had in the past. And for me, I don't want to even say that people should sue the persons who brought this idea for damages for wasting our national resources in wasted efforts.
Thank you so much, Barrister Justice Ojiona, for joining us, and we hope you join us again some other time.
It will be my pleasure.
All right, still on political matters, Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum has firmly denied reports claiming he plans to defect from the ruling All Progressives Congress to the African Democratic Congress along with 5 other governors. In a statement released by his spokesperson, Dauda Ilia, Governor Zulum described the rumors as unfounded fabrications spread by what he called unscrupulous elements seeking relevance. He reaffirmed his commitment to the APC and urged the public to disregard what he called cheap politics. Governor Zulum emphasized that his administration remains focused on the critical task of rebuilding and developing Borno State, and he called on media outlets and the public to verify news through credible official sources, not rumor and disinformation. I'm now joined by senior lawyer, Barrister Chibuna Okolia-Kriya, State Secretary, Labour Party, Anambra State. Barrister Chibuna, thank you so much for joining us. He joins us virtually from Anambra State for more insights on how the Labour Party members in the home state of the former flag bearer of the party, Peter Obi, are reacting to the coalition under the ADC. Hello, Barrister Chibuna, can you hear me?
Very well, yes. Yeah.
All right, let's begin from the emergence of the...
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you so much. Now, let's begin from the emergence of the third political force recently launched under the platform of the ADC. What do you make of Peter Obi joining this coalition, knowing what he stood for, you know, in terms of integrity, in terms of simplicity, and even transparency? You know, these are values that were, you know, these are values that are kind of rare amongst our political elites in our country now, presently.
Well, thank you for that question. For me, I will approach this matter from a triune perspective, from the perspective of legality, from the perspective of even the Labour Party angle, and most importantly, from the perspective of history. Starting with the legality, it is obvious that Section 38, subsection 1, 39, subsection 1, 40, and 41 of the 1999 Constitution are variously amended, respectively provide for the right to freedom of conscience, freedom of opinion, freedom of movement, freedom of association. So pigeonholing what is evolving to B2B is merely exercising this constitutional guaranteed right. Then if you not take it to Labour Party, it is our record that some months ago, I think precisely in December 2024, the Director General of the Directorate of Mobilization and Integration in Labour Party, Dr. Martin Zubimendi, said that I quote, that it is only a consolidated, integrated, and united opposition, you quote, that can contain and checkmate the government of the day. Then in terms of historical antecedent, what is happening to ADC is not that historical. We have presidents over there. In terms of governance, we used to have the MPP, MPN accord. Recently, during the 2015 general election, we had the AC, CPC, PDP, that mutated into APC. So one can say that what is playing out now is not illegal, is not illegitimate, it is not without historical precedent. Then coming specifically to P2P, it is our urge Nigerians to appreciate what His Excellency generously said. He said it's not after power. He said it's not after alliance for the purposes of election. He said he's not interested in coming together to unseat the incumbent president. But his primary concern is good governance, delivering verifiable dividends of democracy to Nigeria. And we all know and appreciate that when you talk about governance, it goes beyond the contours of political parties, political agitations, and the political union. So what His Excellency Mr. P2B is doing is in consonance, is in alliance, conducive with the requirements of the law, the position of Labour Party, and the extant historical experience of Nigeria.
Now you've said it that Peter Obi is all about good governance, but then again, when we look at the coalition, he's not just all by himself over there. We have other people who in the past have shown interest of being Nigeria's next president. Personally, what do you think? Do you think what's the probability of Peter Obi being the presidential candidate of the ADC, based on what you think?
Well, that is very interesting. Peter Obi as a person is not so interested in going for power. Peter Obi is a Democrat. If you look at what happened when he left PDP and joined Labour Party, he subjected himself to the democratic principles of Labour Party constitution. He was there, and after that, Nigerians all witnessed it. He was there, and the wonderful Nigerian party Tommy stepped down, notwithstanding the benevolent act of stepping down by Dr. Tommy. He to be subjected himself to the requirements of the process. The former party congress was conducted, and he emerged as the consensus candidate of Labour Party. So referring to what's going to happen now, I think that the B2B will subject himself to the rudiment, to the requirement, to the process or due process. If at the end of the day, others who are forming the coalition in ADC now feel that there is a need to subject the aspirant to primary. I know for sure, as the Excellency Mr. P2, being a Democrat, will subject himself to that test. But above all, we have to appreciate the obvious fact that even before now, the PDP has said that they are minded to cede their presidential ticket to South, and they are even minded to cede it to South. So there appears to be a general consensus, a general proclivity among Nigeria that in the interest of equity, in the interest of fairness, in the interest of whatever is just, that the the ticket of either Labour Party, AD, even PDP, shall be zoned to South-East for the purposes of giving people a sense of belonging. So no matter the way, no matter the prism, no matter the perspective, no matter the angle from which one appreciates this fact, equity, fairness, competence, capability, capacity, they all favor His Excellency Mr. P2B.
Thank you so much, Barrister Zubimendi. Apologies, but I have to cut you off at this point in time. But we're not done with the conversation. We'll still continue having this conversation right after this break. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. We're still having a conversation with Barrister Zubimendi as we discuss Labour Party's reaction to Peter Obi joining the coalition. Now, Barrister Zubimendi, you mentioned something. You said Peter Obi is joining the ADC based on good governance. That's majorly what he is after. But when you look at the crop of people who have made up the ADC right now, we're talking about former ministers, former governors, and even the former vice president of Nigeria. Do you think that team can actually provide Nigerians with good governance?
Certainly, you see, there is one thing, peculiar in politics. You can have, a group of 100 people. But if one person is well-intentioned, if one person is good intention, if one person, has interest of the masses at that, and that person is empowered, that person is in a position of power or influence, that person can certainly take some salutary steps to, to do things that will be wholesome to the entire citizen. So the fact that, we have others coming from various political parties is not a hindrance to His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi to perform if he's choosing a Nigerian electing, as their president. So in simple language, what I'm saying in essence is that what is important is, one, for Nigeria to agree that there is need to elect a person who has the requisite competence, a person who has the experience, a person who has, the ability to do what, to govern in such a manner that will benefit Nigerians. And I think P2B has that pedigree. So the fact that we have some other people who are from some other political parties joining ADC will certainly not be a hindrance. Just like the coalition that eventuated to APC. Out there, you had the Shibanjo, you had the former governor of Lagos State, he was there. But it never allowed the power broker in APC to allow such good intention gentlemen to do certain things that will benefit Nigeria. So also, you can have a situation where, presumably, people who are you as not having, good intention can as well emulate those or emulate the person he is wearing the political power. I'm saying this because personally, I'm not just a supporter of His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi. I have intimate knowledge of my colleague.
All right, Barrister, there are insinuations that Peter Obi is yet to officially withdraw his membership of the Labour Party. Can you confirm that? Can you confirm that for us?
So whether he's a member or not is immaterial. Like I said before, the Director General of the Directorate of Mobilization and Integration in Labour Party, I mentioned it then, Dr. Martin Zubimendi, so months ago, was very frantic enough, was very altruistic enough in stating an assessment that it will take a consolidated, integrated, and united opposition to wrestle power and save Nigeria from, the present threat. So in the Directorate of Labour Party, some 6 months ago, appreciated the obvious fact that there is need for opposition parties to come together, consider their efforts, integrate and unite to get power. Then what Peter Obi is doing now is meant to give effect to what Labour Party anticipated and advocated some months ago.
All right, thank you so much, Barrister Chibun, for being our guest. We hope you join us again some other time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right, to go on a quick break. When we return, there's more. Stay with us. The death toll from flash flooding in Kerr County, Texas, has risen to 59, including 38 adults and 21 children. This is according to Sheriff Larry Lether, who disclosed that identification is still pending for 18 adults and 4 children. Rescuers continue their search for missing people, including 11 campers and 1 counselor from Camp Mystique, a summer camp located by Guadalupe River. The floods were caused by torrential rains that caused the river to rise rapidly, leading to widespread devastation. Search and rescue efforts remain ongoing as authorities work to locate survivors and recover victims from the disaster.
As of 9 a.m. this morning, we've recorded 59 deceased in Kerr County. Among those who are deceased, we have 38 adults and 21 children. 18 adults pending identification and 4 children are also pending identification. At present, there are 11 Camp Mystic campers unaccounted for, along with 1 counselor. We extend our sincerest condolences and prayers for every single family affected by this tragedy.
And now in sports, world indoor champion Prudence Segodiso continued her impressive form by finishing second in the women's 800-meter at the Diamond League meet in Eugene. The South African equaled her personal best of 1 hour 57 minutes, narrowly behind Ethiopia's Sige Duguma, who won in 1 hour 57.10 seconds. Uganda's Halima Nakai completed the All-African podium with 1 hour 57 minutes and 89 seconds. It marks Segodiso's third podium in the 2025 Diamond League Series after earlier successes in Rabat and Stockholm. In the men's 100 meters, 19-year-old Bayanda Walaza finished sixth in 10.04 seconds on his Diamond League debut. Jamaica's Kishane Thompson won the race in 9.85 seconds. The next Diamond League stop is Monaco on July 11th as athletes gear up for more global competition. Arsenal have confirmed the signing of Spanish midfielder Martin Zubimendi from Real Sociedad in a deal worth approximately £55 million. The Euro 2024 winner joins a 5-year contract after making 236 appearances for Sociedad and earning 19 caps for Spain. Arsenal reportedly paid above his £51 million buyout clause to stagger the fee. Zubimendi's arrival strengthens Mikel Arteta's midfield following the exits of Thomas Partey and Jorginho, allowing Declan Rice to play a more advanced role alongside Martin Ødegaard. The 26-year-old becomes Arsenal's second summer signing after Kepa Arrizabalaga. Deals for Christian Nørgaard and striker Viktor Gyökeres are also nearing completion as the Gunners push for their first Premier League title since 2004. Bayern Munich's Jamal Musiala is facing up to 5 months on the sidelines after suffering a broken fibula and ankle dislocation during their 2-0 Club World Cup quarter-final loss to PSG. The 22-year-old collided with goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma in Saturday's match in Atlanta and was flown back to Munich on Sunday for surgery. Bayern confirmed the severity of the injury and called it a major blow for the club. Coach Vincent Kompany labeled the incident an accident, while goalkeeper Manuel Neuer criticized Donnarumma's challenge as reckless. Musiala had only recently returned from a previous injury and was key to Bayern's setup. And that's all at this hour, but before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Private medical practitioners in Nigeria warn of imminent collapse in health sector, urge government intervention. President Tinubu issues marching order to the military as terrorist kills 9 in fresh attack in Borno State. We also told you that death toll from flash flooding in Kerr County, Texas has risen to 59. Remember, you may send your eyewitness reports to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV 422 and on GoTV channel 23 and on Star Times channel 274. We're also available on Avo TV and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Chiwete Onyema.